Hello Internet, welcome back to Cataclysm, our fire series. Apparently we're tired, so I think we're just going to go to bed here. Last episode we did some looting. We picked up a bunch of vegetables. If we look at our eat menu, picked up some tomatoes, zucchini, cucumber, and we also picked up chunks of meat. We really should cook some of the meat before we go to bed because it's going to go bad. Can we pickled meat? Glass jar with a metal screw top lid used for canning. Okay, so it would use water, a glass jar, which we have 3. It would use meat and vinegar. It would take 30 minutes. Batch savings, 83% at 5 units. But we can only make 3 units, unfortunately. It would make the food, it would preserve our food. Let's go ahead and pickle some meat. Do that. Use the dirty water. So we now should have 3 cans of pickled meat, or jars rather, which would have, yes, be non-perishable. So that's nice. Go ahead and drop that on our food pile. So that used up some of our meat so that we don't have to worry about that going bad. How much meat do we have left? Oops. Meat. We have 11 chunks left. Okay. I mean, it's not a big deal. Meat. I think we just cook a bunch. Can we make pelmeni? I have no idea if that's how you say it. Man, I can't type today. Pelmeni. These have a shelf life of 2 days, which is another way we can preserve the meat a little bit. 2 portions. It would require flour. It takes a long time, though. What kind of time savings are we looking at? Really none, not very much. So it takes several hours. Go ahead and make cooked meat. I can't type today. Cooked meat times like 5. Cook that. We'll eat that now. Get a lot of calories into us. Eat cooked meat. Yeah, just eat all of that. Tons of calories in us, which is great. Go ahead and make some pelmeni for tomorrow. We'll make 3. And unfortunately, we're losing a lot of time here. But that's okay. Use the regular water. And that way we have something for tomorrow. We'll cook the rest of the meat when we get up just to see if it will last that long or not. I don't remember when precisely we looted that meat or butchered the meat. Go ahead and put the fire out. Go ahead and drink something. Breathing in smoke is not great. Go ahead and have some barley wine, and we'll drink some water. Great, and we'll go back and we'll sleep. Last episode, we talked about getting Twitch set up. But that was a nightmare, by the way, because it's like you can't stream with the program I generally use. I had to download like the advanced OBS thing for streaming, and that was a little bit of an issue. And then we talked about setting up a Twitter, which they locked immediately because they think I'm a robot, apparently. But I'm pretty sure it's just a ploy to get my personal information because it's a big company that wants my personal information, and my knee-jerk reaction is no, go F yourself, which is not helpful because if if I'd contacted their support and said, go F yourself, they probably would never unlock my account. So still waiting to hear back from them on that. Really was looking forward to getting Twitter up and going because I would like to be able to communicate more with my audience, and that would be a good way to do that, especially once I start streaming. So I'm pretty frustrated by that. I was on Discord last night complaining about it because it really, really bothered me. And then worst case scenario, I'll just buy a cheap phone that I can use disposable, like a track phone for like $15 or whatever. And just do that so I don't have to give them my personal information, really. We picked up these veggies. They're such low calories, and we really can't use them for anything. Can we make... yeah, I don't really care about this stuff too much. This doesn't interest me very much. Vegetable soup, the calories are too small to be worth my time. Vegetable pizzas are okay, but I think they probably have a negative health component. I think we would just end up eating the veggies raw, to be honest with you. 3 days, 5 days, 6 days. I'm not super interested in replanting these either, because they have short shelf lives and they just don't have enough calories in them. The things I would want to plant would be like cabbage, pumpkin, things with low calories but high volume. So like we could eat them to fill up once we've eaten a lot of calories on a given day. Not super interested. And they have long shelf lives. Like pumpkins last a long time. Not really sure what to do with myself here. I don't really know where to go. I don't know what to loot. I don't know. We don't need anything. We needed condoms to make a stethoscope for some stupid reason. Really hate that. Like, I'm sure someone in the comments will be like, well, you need the the condoms because of this. But to me, it's just real dumb. Even if you tell me why it's like that, I'll still tell you it's dumb. So, we could... Honestly, I would like to leave and go look for labs at this point. We have all the tools we need. I mean, we could check our vehicle. I don't think our vehicle is really up to snuff. We do not have enough solar panels. We would be relying a lot on gasoline. Give me... We also never put a... There was something else we were going to put in here. Oh, I saw a big truck and I didn't think to mark it to pull cargo spaces. Crap. Okay. Where did we see a big truck? Dang it. Yeah, not great. The memory tiles. That's a bus. Maybe I'm thinking of the bus. There's a fire truck. I don't see anything that had cargo spaces. Still looking for cargo spaces. Someone told me to use a hauling space. I don't think they're in... I thought they're from a mod though, which I don't have. So we need cargo spaces for one. And what was the other thing we needed? Oh, the freezer. We never put a freezer into this. Yeah. Let's get that sorted. Give me a freezer. Let's go... well, there is a grocery store down here. It would have a lot of fridges in it we could harvest. Although we could just harvest materials. Well, we probably ought to go check the grocery store anyway. I don't think we've been there yet. Let's drop everything we don't need. We've already done that. What do we need for freezer? Mini freezer. We have all the materials we need. Never mind then. We just need a welder. Sure. Under the hood. Well, all of our materials are in here. I really don't want to have to go. We don't have a weld. Is there a welder out here? Or did we use that to make the welder in the vehicle? Motorbike. I thought we had one laying out here. Might be inside. We might have to make another welder because we may have used ours for the or no, what am I doing? Don't search there. Search here for the welder. We do have a welder. And we're going to make a freezer. We're a few charges shy. It's going to require a battery change anyway. You don't have enough charge? Yeah, that's fine. So we're going to have to swap out batteries. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, just frustrated with things. You know, everything is pushing towards always internet all the time. You know, and it's really irritating as someone who doesn't have internet that is good. It really frustrates me when games are online only, even though they're single-player games. Like, I remember playing, I think it was Assassin's Creed Black Flag. They had these things where you could, like, send your ships out in order to... Okay, reload the welder. In order to, like... pirate, and you would send them on missions, and you would have a fleet that you would send on missions. It was like a side, you know, time killing activity in Assassin's Creed. Maybe it was in the third one, I don't remember. Point is, you could not do that unless you were online. And it's like, dude, it's a single player game that is a single player experience. Why do I have to be online to send shit? None of the rest of the game requires me to be online. Why does sending my ships to a fleet require the internet? You know, and it's just that online functionality that people think is like, oh, it's super great that all video games are getting online functionality and connection to the internet. It's really not. There are a huge subsection of the population that does not have access to reliable internet, and you're basically screwing those people because you're like, yeah, I know you exist, and I know you shelled out $60 for our game or whatever, but nah, I mean, we don't care about you that much. You're not like our main income. We actually don't want the freezer there, because then it will block the door. Yeah. Go ahead and remove the trunk. Man, I wish I could build my own cargo spaces. Install the mini freezer. So now we have a freezer, which means we can permanently store food. If we, all we would have to do is run this enough to make sure our batteries never drain. Our batteries are basically fully charged. I would love to put another battery in this thing as well, like a big battery, not a. So we have a car battery. 2,500 charges is not really enough to justify putting a bunch of car batteries into it. One storage battery is so many, you know what, 4 times 4, 16 car batteries. So it's really not worth it to put car batteries in this thing. We'll keep our eyes open for solar vehicles, but I have not really seen any. Just like we haven't really seen. Okay, unload. Welder. Let's go ahead and drop these medium batteries in here. I've not really seen cargo spaces or solar vehicles. There's our crane. 3 medium batteries. We have a bunch of batteries inside we should transport out here as well. Okay. Check this real quick. Bat. Give me the high capacity ones only. Disposables, no. Medium. Yeah, unfortunately we really don't have ultralights, and we don't have mediums. Like the ultralights, we don't have any rechargeable ultralights, and we don't have any high capacity mediums, which is fine. There may not even be, I don't think I've ever seen a high capacity medium, or at least it's not coming to mind. Go ahead and drop those in there as well. We can turn on the recharger since we're here. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to use nearly enough power to really be an issue. I think we probably want to go hunting for vehicle parts is probably the smartest thing we could do. I really wish you could manufacture cargo spaces. They're essentially just big metal boxes, right? Cargo carrier. What is this? Heavy frame outfitted with tie downs and attachment points for carrying cargo. Is that what I'm looking for? Livestock carrier. I don't think that's what I'm looking for. We'll make one and find out. Actually, we can just go out to our vehicle and check it. So in order to make that, we need frames anyway. So we'll go out here. Let's eat first. Eat some pelmeni. Bam, bam, bam. Food. Have something to drink. Go ahead and have a little booze. You've been great lately. You're doing great. Cataclysm character. I think your nickname is Laser. Russ Laser Pina. Pina. I don't know. There's no accent over the end. So we look here. Go to install, let's say, where we took that out. Go to cargo. Cargo space requires a cargo. So you can craft them. Obviously, not not the easiest way to do that. But it is what it is. We also need a jack before we would leave. Go ahead and harvest some frames from this bastard. Okay, take all of this apart, harvest some frames to make cargo carriers. I think it also requires tons of string, which is a bummer, but makes sense because it specifically references tie downs and things. So we'll get that sorted. We don't even need a lot to begin with. We can source them as we drive. Animal compartment. We can just source materials as we go. Oh, we do need these frames. Yeah. I'm not a fan of constantly online connectivity. If you have a single player game, it should not require online in order to access any part of it. The only thing that should require online is multiplayer. So when I see games like EA Games does this all the time, Ubisoft, whoever, they make it so that you can only access parts of their game if you're playing online. That's really frustrating. Like the Dead Space 3, like I just played Dead Space. In Dead Space 3, what am I doing? We need those frames. Dead Space 3, there was co-op added to the game. And it was real dumb because Dead Space was a single player game experience. So I was immediately kind of annoyed because you took a space horror game that's like a single player tailored experience and then you added co-op to it. And it was a bit dumb, okay? Cargo. Carrier. We don't have Oh, it's straight up ropes too. So that's a real problem actually. I thought it was strings. It actually requires rope. Rope is takes a lot of strings to make. The steel is not an issue. I don't know where you get vines in the game. So it looks like we're going to be making rope. Give me rope. Long rope. Cordage rope requires plants, cordage. Yeah, we don't have these materials. We would be using up tons and tons of strings. So what we're going to do, don't we have rope? No. We're going to go harvest some seatbelts because I believe those are ropes rather than strings. So let's go ahead and pull. Yes, there's a seatbelt. Would give us, doesn't say. That's fine. Pretty sure they're rope. Short ropes. Oh, we're going to need a lot of seatbelts. Okay. I mean, this gives us something to do, I guess, because I didn't really have something in mind to do. And in order to play all of Dead Space 3, part of the game was locked behind co-op. So, like, some levels were only accessible if you had a co-op partner. You couldn't play them by yourself. And it was further irritating because, like, there were achievements for collecting all the relics or whatever, which you could not do unless you had a co-op partner because you could not play certain parts of the game unless you were playing co-op. And I hate crap like that. It's a single player game, you know, that should be accessible to single players. Your entire audience is based off people who, you know, have played the other games because they're like really good single player experiences. And then you basically took that and crapped all over it and said, well, we kind of want you to use our servers so that we can hopefully drive traffic towards you purchasing our other games. So we're going to force this to be online only, and you have to make an EA account or Ubisoft account or whatever it is. I don't remember who made that and stuff. But like, it's just frustrating to me because I'm like a single player gamer. I get it, you know, battle royales and everything are hot, the new hotness right now, and every company wants to have a launcher so that they can drive more traffic to their products. But like, it super hurts. It's a very easy place for you to look at the game industry and say you're clearly prioritizing your company over your players. And you know, gamers don't do that. Companies do that, and it's irritating. I'm getting real sick of the big old companies lately. You know, it seems like every time I turn on the news, Blizzard has done something terrible, or you know what I mean. Like, it's always, if you keep up with gaming news, it's basically one big F up after another, where it's like people are like, well, you know, we could make a better experience for our gamers, or we could increase our average sale price by 3 cents per customer. And they're like, well, obviously we're going to take the more money. Well, but if we take 3 cents more per customer, we're actually like really alienating a huge portion of our you know, our audience, people who've come to us repeatedly. And they're like, yeah, but 3 cents though. And then of course, you know, we end up with EA's travesty of some new horrible game or some Blizzard nonsense about banning people because of Hong Kong references, and it's always just something, you know, and it gets super old. Like, as a gamer, you want. So most of us, I think, I mean, I can't speak for you for sure, but when I was a kid, games were really important to me. And I grew up loving video games. I grew up where Blizzard was one of the best companies out there. You know, yes, they made millions of dollars hand over fist with World of Warcraft, but they made good games. You know, Diablo was a good game. You know, World of Warcraft was a good game. There were a lot of really high quality offerings from that company. It seemed like they put their players first. They did conventions. They gave away all kinds of free loot. They were really popular. People loved Blizzard. Like 6 years ago, people loved Blizzard. And then it's just been a series of mistakes. We've seen that from Bethesda. You know, Fallout 76 was obviously like a shameless cash grab that was never really finished properly, wasn't very well thought out, and was just really kind of hurt them, you know, a lot. And then there's Blizzard, there's EA, you know, and it's just, it gets old. You know what I'm talking about. I feel like I'm rambling, but you know what I'm talking about. These companies, they don't care. And more there's been a push towards harvesting privacy. personal information. There's been a push towards mandating you to use their launcher and or accounts, online only, all kinds of stuff like that. It's like, if any company would just listen, like let's say today Blizzard was like, you know what, we've been doing things wrong. From now on, we're going to consult with gamers before we make these decisions. I guarantee you they would make a lot more money, and they would not be in the news every 6 weeks because of some stupid thing that they did, It's like, but nobody takes the time to think, well, what's best for our audience? They're so focused on, well, what's best for, and when it's a publicly traded company, I get it. You have shareholders that you need to be accountable for, and if they say, hey, we want more microtransactions because it's going to earn us more money for our stock of the company, that is a difficult position to be in as a company. And I imagine that is hard to navigate, and that there isn't an easy or right answer. So we want to look cargo spaces. We cannot use short ropes. Oh, we can? God, it requires 20 short ropes for one cargo carrier. So this is a pretty nightmarish amount of rope requirement. I assume long ropes convert from short ropes at a 5-to-1 rope. Yeah. So it's not really helping us any to do that. I mean, even just harvesting string would take forever. We harvested a lot of seatbelts, and we only got enough for one cargo carrier. So I think this is going to be slow going, and we'll just pick them up as we go by. Vehicles in the future. We need chunks of steel and or scrap metal, as well as our welder, which we've already dumped all of our batteries for into the car. Let's go turn that recharger off, by the way. We don't need that to be running at all times. They should all be charged by now, I would imagine. Let's take a look. Yep. So go ahead, shut off the old recharger. And I imagine if we look, we did use some percentage of our batteries, but not a significant amount. I mean, it's not insignificant, but it's not a lot either. Give me a medium battery. Give me the disposable. We use the disposable, and we're gonna need scrap metal. Come to this fence again, just to take care of this. And you would think with a warhammer, smashing a fence would be very easy. Apparently not. Go ahead and rest. Get your breath back. Grab the scrap metal. Not very much scrap metal. That's okay. I mean, we could butcher other things to get more scrap metal if we want. I just want one carrier. That's like the whole point here. Let's go ahead and make ourselves. First of all, we need the welder again. Reload, welder, great, and cargo. So we should be able to make this now. Cargo carrier. Can't believe it requires 20 ropes. How big is this thing? It's 50 liters. Yeah, but that's not like the dimensions of it. That's how much storage can be inside of it. I'm sure there's an easy math behind what is a 50 liter. Well, we would need to know depth. It doesn't matter. Anyway, point is, pretty ridiculous that it requires 20 ropes in order to, because it can't be that big that it requires 20 ropes. Maybe it's like a cargo net. Maybe we're making, like, that's what it means. Tie downs and attachment points. Yeah, maybe it's like a cargo net that goes over it that we're making out of the ropes. Doesn't matter. Takes an hour. Sure. Make a cargo carrier. I mean, this is obviously not the optimal way to do it, but like I said, I haven't seen any cargo spaces. So we'll grab this, carry this. Oh, we don't need to wield it, to my surprise. Go ahead and take this outside and drop this by the old car. We could, of course, just put trunks in or whatever, but we don't really want trunks. We kind of want to have nice big cargo spaces. So other things we're going to do, probably going to remove this chair. Getting a vehicle forging rig would be nice, just so we had that to take with us on the road. Is our weapon damaged at all? No. Okay. So forging rig would be nice, but is not strictly necessary. Probably remove the aisle and replace with some kind of storage, whether that's cargo spaces or trunks. It doesn't really matter, since we're just going to be hitting the road and upgrading as we go. We have the kitchen unit, we have the bed, we have the welder, we have the freezer. Really don't need anything else, I don't think. Nothing else is coming to mind. The autoclave, of course, at some point, but we haven't been to a lab yet. Man, I would really like to be looting labs right now, instead of houses and junk. We probably won't be moving on until at least our plants are harvestable, just because I do wish there was some kind of ETA on how long this would take. Like if you looked at them and you were like, it's a seedling, or it hasn't sprouted yet, or it looks nearly ready to harvest. Like, I just wish there was some kind of indicator, but that would require more transformations, I think, instead of just being, oh, it's a thing that you planted on already. If that makes sense. Probably doesn't make sense. Anyway, let's, I guess we'll just read a little bit. Let's go back to first aid. First responder handbook. We'll read that. Want to get our first aid up a little bit higher, especially if we are going to be heading to labs. Kind of want to be able to butcher them for CBMs once we get there, because there's a lot of science zombies and things in the old lab. Do we have pelmeni left? We do not. It's fine. Let's go ahead and eat a can of something. Unknown _5. I don't know what that means. Oh, we do have this veggies and things. Go ahead and eat some tomato. Eat a cucumber. We're engorged somehow. Back to reading. I didn't mean to rant about companies. It's just the Twitter thing really bothered me. And then it got me thinking about how I hate big companies. And then we talked about this in my Binding of Isaac series. I had a whole long rant about big companies that are soulless, that try to convince you they're not soulless through their advertisements. Like they have these commercials where it's like super progressive. Oh, it's a black lady and she's LGBTQ, and they're trying to show you that they support, minorities and people who are, the LGBT, the gay community. Sorry, I can't speak today. But then it's like, because, those people are underrepresented in television and in advertisements, and they should be included in more advertisements. And in society in general, it's still kind of like shady to talk to people who are gay, or it's so crazy to me how many commercials are like all just a bunch of white people. And so, like, it's fine to represent those people. Those people should be represented and appear more frequently in media. But then it's like Walmart doing it, and you're like, yeah, you're also like a soulless corporation who doesn't pay their their people a living wage. You don't really give benefits to your employees. You used to take out life insurance policies on your employees, hoping that they might die and you could collect some money. So it's like you're this big, horrible, soulless corporation that destroys livelihoods, destroys small business. But because you put a nice black lady in a commercial who turns out she's a lesbian, I'm supposed to think that you're progressive and you're good people. You're not. You're a soulless company that destroys America. Continue trying to fall asleep. Sorry, not to rant. And again, I have no problem with people of color. I have no problem with people who are non-binary or gay, straight, bi, pansexual. Doesn't matter. I don't care about any of that. I don't have a problem with any of those people. We drink an energy drink, so we're struggling to fall asleep here. You fall asleep. Good. I don't have a problem with any particular group of people. Honestly, I don't like men very much, but that's like, whatever. Patriarchy, woo. So it's like, I don't have a problem with any particular group of people, but when I see companies trying to convince you they're progressive through a commercial, it just makes me want to laugh in their face and point out all the terrible things they've done. Walmart used to take out life insurance policies on people. That's an absolute fact. Give that a Google. Pretty heinous thing to do. You're basically saying, well, you work for me and I barely pay you, for any amount of money, but I can still profit from you dying. It's just terrible. And then because you put a nice lady in a commercial, I'm supposed to act like, you're a progressive. And she's probably, that too, she's probably not a gay actress. Like, she probably is playing a role that isn't even who she is. It's like, because Walmart doesn't care. They're not going to seek out and support an actual, LGBTQ actress. They're just going to pick someone and say, oh, today you're a lesbian. And it's like, you're not even being... It doesn't matter. Anyway, didn't mean to ramble. Hopefully none of that sounded offensive. Probably did. I often say things that sound offensive, but they're not meant to be offensive. Because I'm incompetent and don't really think about how my words will sound when they come out of my mouth. Anyway, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the series. I'll be back with more Cataclysm, of course, in the near future. And I'll see you in the next episode.